Hi everyone, welcome to today's tutorial. In this video, we're going to be looking at Typescript basic types and how to use them. So let's get into it. Typescript has support for some primitive types. The three main ones are the Boolean, which is true or false, the number, which is the whole number or floating point value, and the string for text like subscribe. Now, how do we assign these types in Typescript? Well, when creating a variable, there are two ways to assign a type. The first one is the explicit way, and the second one is the implicit way. Let's look at an example of both to see how they both work, right? So let's look at explicit type example. I'm going to pop up a block of code here so you can see it. Now I want you to analyze this code very well and realize what is happening. First thing you would notice is that we are declaring a variable called name and then we are assigning the value lawal to it. But you also notice something that we are having this little thing right here in the middle, which is the column and then the word string. By doing this, we're telling TypeScript that this variable is a string, and TypeScript would know that this is a string. So when this variable is being reassigned a different value, TypeScript will be expecting you to assign a string to it. If any other primitive type except from a string is being assigned, TypeScript will throw an error. So the second example will be the implicit type example. Now let's look at it and we see the familiarity. Yeah, but let's realize the familiarity first. We have we're declaring a variable called name, and we're assigning the value of the value to it. But if you notice, we're not telling TypeScript that this is a string. We don't have the colon string like we have in the explicit type example. That's because of this is implicit type example, and with implicit type examples, TypeScript would have to guess the type based on the default assigned value. So it's looking at this the default assigned value, which is the value here, and looks for what the type is. It realizes that the type is a string, and then he assigns the type of string to this variable. So if you try to reassign this string, this variable, another primitive type, except from string, is going to throw an error. So I want you to note something that this particular thing is called infer, right? So implicit assignment forces TypeScript to infer the value. Though implicit assignments are faster, shorter, and easier to type, it's always better to explicitly assign types to variables because in the long run, this can cause errors and bugs in your code. So what I want us to do for now is to look at errors in TypeScript so that we can be able to understand this in detail. So I'm going to pop up my code editor, Visual Studio Code, and in the last tutorial, I showed you how to set up a TypeScript project. If you missed that, you can just go check it out, and you can come back now. Come back here. So let's have something very similar to the examples we have. Then let name is equals to lawal, right? So declare a variable called name, and we assign the value of lawal to it. So to make this to explicitly write the type, we'll just put in the column and then tell it string. Now TypeScript knows that this is a string, right? So what happens when I try to reassign this name to let's say a number like 99? You can see that TypeScript there's a red line first, clear the red line, and then if I over that red line, TypeScript gives us an error, which is type number is not assignable to type string because I'm trying to assign a type of number to what I have already declared as a string. So just will tell us type number is not assignable to type string. So what if this was the other way around? If this was age and I made this a number and and I said 21, right? So if I said age here and I try to reassign it to 99, error is not going to throw in. But if I try to reassign this to a string like lawal back, you see an error gets thrown and type string is not assignable to type number. So that's just another way around, and it's like TypeScript is telling us that you can't assign a string to a number. So this works for the explicit types, and it also works for the if we implicitly wrote the type. So if I remove this number here, now I'm not telling TypeScript that this is a number or a string or anything. TypeScript will know that by itself because it's going to come here and realize that okay, this is a number. The default value is a number. So it is going to believe that I want this variable age to always be a number. So that's why when I come here and I try to assign a value of string to it, it's going to throw an error and it's going to tell me type string is not assignable to type number, even though I never told it that this was a number. I never did this, but he knows that. But it's always better to explicitly write it like that, to explicitly write number like this, because you always want to know what this is. It is far more readable. Somebody else can come into your code and understand it better. So thank you very much for watching to this point of the video. If you did like it, give me a like and subscribe because I'm releasing more videos, at least one video every day. Thank you very much. See you in the next one. Have a nice day.